Alright, so welcome back to Decoy Noise. Today we have another guest with Jess. We're going to be going over a relationships thread like we used to. So if you haven't already, please subscribe down below. Let me know how you like us covering things that aren't Ask Reddit threads. And let me know how you like us covering your... covering things as guests, because we get over way less of the comments and more just discussion. But let's just get into this right now.
My fiance embarrassed me at my job and is mad that I took my sister... to a walk event with mandatory +1.
Why are you saying it as a toddler? This guy's 25 years old. Okay, so I love me fiance. Engaged for 7 months together for 4 years. He's Irish. I really do. Actually, that's no. Okay.
I really do. No.
But she burned me pretty bad when I took her to a charitable auction for a company she felt was connected to the government she didn't like. She was shockingly rude to the client, and I had to pull her aside and tell her to leave, then make an excuse that she wasn't feeling so well. It was successful, though, since the client's culture had an oddity where you weren't responsible for your spouse's outbursts, so as long as you take measures to get them under control. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's not a great outlook, but it worked out great for me, and all cultures are different. I lost a lot of trust in her for this, though she apologized and felt bad, and said that she was feeling increasingly upset and lost control, somewhat understandably. We had a long conversation about it, worked through it, and she agreed to the boundary of not being involved with any work functions, save some exceptions. Dinners with coworkers, I feel she can agree with, etc. Okay. Oh my gosh. I had another similar function, and my boss was pretty insistent on me bringing a date. I told him that
This is his fiance, though?
Yeah. So I told him that I didn't bring my fiance to work events, and he said I could bring a friend or anyone, really. It was a status...
Wait. I'm confused now. Why can't he bring his fiance to work
Because she
events?
had an outburst where she, she
Oh!
insulted a client.
So rude.
So it was a status symbol to this particular client, and the event was already one where PDAs would be inappropriate, so I figured I could just bring a friend or basically anyone as a +1. He said he didn't see the executives again, and that I was just an engineer, and I'd only be with their low-level managers, engineers, and computer architects.
Shoulda, coulda brought a guy. Oh yeah, or a sister.
Yeah, and the infrastructure was in place, most likely not even then, and all the interactions were impersonal in the first place. Wow, this is going on. Okay, so I decided to take my sister, and my fiance has been angry about it since. My rationale was my sister was personable and diplomatic. There wouldn't be any issues of jealousy or me thinking that another woman was better to show off or something like that might occur with a female friend. I think this is reasonable. And then it communicates nothing except that I need a +1 and can't bring my fiance. Surprisingly, she has been pissy about it since I told her. She thinks that it's much worse than going alone since it communicates that I'd just be better alone. What? But thinks that she in particular is inadequate. She is. She also thinks it's an equivalent to hiding our relationship, almost says that my sister is better to show off by my side, which I find gross for her to say. It is a general public dig against our relationship, and my coworkers know her and see me bring someone else? What? I think she's being ridiculous. She's the one who made me not trust her in this situation. Any coworker that is knowledgeable about my life also knows who my sister is, and that our sister is clearly the most diplomatic choice since she's choosing her carries no undertones or implications that might arise had I brought a female friend. She still thinks I'm in the wrong for it.
Why would you bring a female friend? Why can't you bring a male friend?
Other undertones? I don't know. But whatever. I think the sister's a good substitute. I thought that we had resolved the issue and moved past it. But she still doesn't see that, and I needed someone I could trust. We agreed on a boundary, and my sister is literally the least threatening person I could have brought. Yeah. I really don't know how to revisit the situation in a way that lasts longer. How do I make her understand my perspective and why I don't think that her complaints hold water? So
Did she complain? Did she have an outburst more than one?
It was just the one.
Public?
But it was enough where they had to go home. I mean, that was good enough. I feel like this is a reasonable middle ground. Like, he needs to bring a +1. They said it's a part of the situation. And
would she have done it again if he brought her to a work event?
I'm guessing not, because he's not going to be around the diplomats. But I think it's one of those things where it's like, if she had to be escorted out, not saying that she was escorted out, but the husband was kind of like, the fiance was just kind of shuffling her out. I mean, it was enough to be like, that was an event, you know what I mean? So what do you think that what he should have done in this situation then? Just you yourself.
I think he should have given her one more chance.
And possibly lose his job because she doesn't know how to hold her liquor or whatever the situation may be.
Oh, well, yeah. I think that sister was a good alternative.
This is a good alternative. She's non-threatening. She's gonna be good. Everybody knows who she is. It's she just wants to be back in the thing and making it his problem. But you know, I don't know. I guess we can kind of go into the next replies over here. which is Blue Sky Blonde and also Cheddar says, I think you're in the right, and I wouldn't trust a partner in the future who without discussion put their political agenda ahead of my livelihood at my work event I invited them to. But also, what culture is this? Very curious. The client's culture had an oddity where you weren't responsible for a spouse's outburst as long as you take measures to get them under control. Yeah, that's weird, huh? Feed the Free replying says, usually this is a South Asian or Middle Eastern. I agree with you and ask the very blunt question, are you okay with the job I have? Because the scenarios where wives and husbands sabotage work and government work spouses are interviewed for security clearance, and from this the fiance would never pass. I don't think it's OP is in something that requires clearance, but I would be concerned about the impact in OP's job in the future. I kind of see that.
Who OP?
Original poster.
Oh.
Blue Sky Blonde replies, says, it doesn't even have to be security clearance thing. So much work, especially if you're client facing, is all politics. It lives and breathes in personal relationships. And if you're going to dinner parties with clients where you're expected to bring a date and you're working at a high level where both you and your spouse have to be present as a team for the best of your company. At a certain level, it's lifestyle. Executive spouses play a integral part in that, even if it goes unacknowledged by some. Ever watch Mad Men? It's like that. Okay, this guy's gonna prattle on and on forever, but I get it. Like, yeah. So we can go over the next one ever. Dassy Foam says, I hope you don't take it wrong, but this is a kind of a ridiculous issue. Your fiance is creating drama where there's absolutely no need, and that should be a red flag. Oh, he's gonna tell him to break off the engagement already. If I were you, I would refuse to engage further. Tell her that you have explained yourself and you're going with your sister. Whether she likes it or not, her reaction will tell you a lot. One thing, I kind of want to see how many, like, if this guy's in a guy or girl's in a good, positive relationship. I'm not going to try to dox or research anybody right now, but I mean, they're getting a lot of karma, so I'm guessing they're kind of a well-adjusted person, but that's pretty extreme, saying, I'm going whether you like it or not. Relative Asian says, I mean, the underlying issue is that she apologized and would probably like the room to change her behavior, but you both boxed her in this bad fiance box who can't attend ever again. Your reasons for bringing your sister are more than sound, and it's not even a question of whether she'll be the best option in place of your somewhat unpredictable fiance. I think this whole thing is about a trust and lack thereof in your wife-to-be. That's a much bigger issue that kind of got swept under the carpet when dealing with this initially.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, they don't want to address the actual problem at hand.
Yeah.
I think you guys could use a bit more of a focused conversation on what the impact of her explosion had on your trust in her and why you're incapable of ever trusting her again. Perhaps she might surprise you with some of her own thoughts on it after processing for so long. Maybe she's considered how to be better, more trustworthy partner at these functions, and you could communicate to that point where you feel confident trying again. Okay. Impossible Girl Me says, I hope OP sees this. This is the most important issue. You need to be able to trust your wife to be. I think, okay, so this is going to be much more of the other stuff. So, I mean, okay, controversial opinions. What would you do in this situation? Like, would you ban her from everything forever? Or?
Not everything. Just not everything.
And maybe one thing we're kind of missing right now is the idea that she's gone to dinners since then that are not like client facing, and she's done well since then. So I mean, maybe she does deserve another shot. It's kind of hard to say. Maybe he's just too afraid of losing his job. I guess there's not enough.
Maybe she's an alcoholic. Yeah, maybe she's an alcoholic because she can't. If she's outbursting like that, she doesn't know her limits.
Yeah, it's true.
So then you can't be with someone like that if they don't know their limits.
Yeah.
Cheddar, get in the camera.
All right, so we'll just go over a couple more of these. Hazardous Incident says, she's suffering from the consequences of her bad behavior. She doesn't get to be mad, as the situation is entirely of her own making. Are you really ready for a lifetime of this? That's a good point. She can't ever just, what is it? The quote, well, if it's not the consequences of my own actions, like.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, gargoyle.
Blue-Eyed BSer says, red flag number 1. She tried to sabotage your career in the evening where she's most likely knew which clients you were meeting ahead of time, putting her own political agenda ahead of your and her future husband's livelihood. Red flag 1.5. If her values and personal beliefs have to be kept a secret or malleable because she has put it on a good face for your job, I'd be questioning whether the kind of beliefs she's been keeping from you and changing just to be in a relationship with you. I think that's a stretch. Like, that's like him projecting something weird. Red flag number 2, y'all talked, then came to an agreement that you wouldn't take her. I'm guessing in the conversation you talked about who you would or wouldn't take, like a female friends, for instance. Yet she's still trying to dictate who you can bring, preferably no one at all.
I think that's nice. Sorry, because I'm going to forget if I say this, if I don't say this. I think that's nice that he even considered taking his sister, or considering being considerate of his fiance's feelings.
Yeah, taking the sister, not another female friend, because that would be a thing, and everybody knows who the sister is.
That fiance would be even more pissed.
Yeah. What do you think, Cheddar?
Upset.
He's smelling into the microphone. God damn. Red flag number 2. Y'all talked, then came to an agreement that you wouldn't take her. I'm guessing that in the conversation you talked about who you would and wouldn't take, like female friends, for instance. Yet she's still trying to dictate who you can bring. Preferably no one at all, it seems. Despite that's being a part of your job. Red flag number 2. You took your sister, and she had the gall to say whatever that was incestuous? That's disgusting.
Yeah, like that's...
What if you have a daughter and you took her out to the day without your significant other? Would you get the same flack for that? I think in your introspective work to look forward to anything that a Reddit posting can help you with. Okay, that was kind of a weird phrasing. But one thing I would say with this situation is like, yeah, I think that it's one of those things where it's like she's just trying to shotgun different excuses out there where it's not necessarily she doesn't like that it's a sister, or she doesn't like it's that person. If it was anybody other than her, she's going to be upset about it. She's just trying to throw a whole bunch of stuff out there to see what sticks because she really doesn't have a leg to stand on. These are the consequences of her own actions, and she just needs to live with them. Any closing thoughts from you? No? Not the protagonist. He's not being a jerk. He's being well within his rights. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, let us know down below what your thoughts on the whole situation is, what you would do in that particular situation. Subscribe down below. Check out that other video, but also let us know how you like these kind of double dives on things where it's like, not Ask Reddit threads, but just more discussions, and also what we should cover next.